Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So if you're new here, thank you so much for coming over and watching my vlog. My name's Sharon and my channel is called The Retirement Edit UK. So on my channel I talk about being semi-retired and what I get up to in my spare time when I'm not working part-time. I work part-time in my local community, 20 hours a week, and I've got a really good work-life balance. So it does mean that I have time to be able to see my mum and see my son and granddaughter and see friends. So what do I feature on my channel? I talk about my grocery shopping from Marks and Spencer's, Aldi's and Sainsburys and Lidl. I also talk about any other spending that I've done, which I record in my spending diary. I talk about personal finance, my budgets and my spreadsheets. I also talk about vintage finds and also charity shop finds, as I'm a great advocate of shopping secondhand. And I also do cook with me's and feature recipes. So if these are things that you're interested in, I would love it if you would watch my vlog and yeah, possibly subscribe as well. That would really make my day. So slight change of scenery here. I've decided to move things around in my living room based on a comment that I had on my previous vlog. So if you watched my previous vlog, then you will know that I have a dehumidifier, which I think is worth its weight in gold. And one of my lovely subscribers in our community, Mandy, she left me a really kind comment, and she also mentioned in the comment about making sure that you don't have any furniture against external walls. Well, my settee that I'm sitting on, which is fairly recent purchase, it's a sofa bed. I bought this back in March, I think, has been against the external wall, which is prone to damp. So it didn't click immediately, but I think the next day I thought of Mandy's comment and I thought, oh wow, well the sofa is against that external wall which is prone to damp, and we're coming into winter. So the last thing I need is to leave that sofa in the place where I put it and for any damp to creep in on the back of it. I would be really devastated, to be fair. So I decided on having a reshuffle. Now, quite frankly, my front room does need redecorating quite badly. I do want the walls to be painted, I do want new carpet, but this is something which I'm hopefully going to be able to do next year. So for the moment I'm, you know, having to grin and bear it and make do. But what I did do was move this sofa now to the opposite side of the room, and it's not against the wall as such. I've kind of got it in the corner, so there is space behind the sofa and there's a radiator behind the sofa, and that is an external wall to my next door neighbour. But the good thing is I don't have any damp issues this side of the rooms, which is really good. So yeah, so I'm really happy that I've kind of moved the sofa, and this wall here is an internal wall to my kitchen, and this is the wall that's the external wall to my neighbour. But because the sofa is at an angle, you know, it shouldn't be prone to any dampness whatsoever. So yeah, if I do film downstairs now on the sofa, this is going to be the new place that I will do my filming. And yeah, I'm quite happy with the changes. And then also what I did do, I've just come back from B&M and I bought 2 new light shades and some light bulbs, because I've got 2 lights in this living room, and basically my dining table used to be in this position here. It's now where the sofa is, and when I was eating my dinner last night, I thought, oh, it was a bit dark, because I don't use both lights, and the light shades haven't been updated for years and years and years, and one of them's damaged. So basically I made an executive decision to throw away the light shades and purchase new ones, and I needed a couple of new light bulbs as well. So like I said, I returned back from B&M just now. Here's a picture of the 2 light shades that I bought. Really good bargain, £6 each. I'm not after anything fancy. And the light bulbs were £3.99 for 2. So that came to £15.99. So that came out of my cash spending money. And yep, so I've kind of spent most of my money for the week, which I'm more than happy about, because I've got something to show for it. So yeah, very happy with that. Couple of minor changes in the living room, all done and dusted until I can redecorate next year. So I did go shopping with my mum on Wednesday, and we went to Sainsbury's, and I wasn't intending on getting anything in Sainsbury's because I thought I'll go to Aldi, but then there was a couple of things that I did pick up, and I thought, you know what, I may as well just get my shopping from here. So my mum bought and paid for her shopping, I bought and paid for my shopping. So here's my shopping from Sainsbury's. Hi everyone. So it's Wednesday morning and I've just returned from Sainsbury's. It's really nice having Wednesday off, as it means I can take my mum to Sainsbury's so she can buy her bits and I can buy my things. And I thought I would get the things from Sainsbury's today, because then it will save me a trip to Aldi or Lidl. So here goes with my shopping. So I got a packet of 6 ready salted crisps and they were £1.10. Then I thought this was a really amazing deal actually, and it just goes to show that you should shop around even within a supermarket. So these are Polish sliced gherkins, and I got this jar for £1.80 and it's 720ml. Now when I went to look for the sliced gherkins, Sainsbury's own brand, they were actually 330ml for £1.55. So for 25p more, I've got over double the weight. So I'm extremely happy with that. I thought that was a really good deal. So it just goes to show it is well worth shopping around within a supermarket. So yeah, £1.80 for that big jar. Very happy with that. Then I needed some hot chocolate, and I got Sainsbury's own brand. That was £2.20. Then next on the list, which I thought was a really good price as well, I got 10 mixed eggs, free range, and these are the Stamford Street brand. And they were £1.64. I thought that was very good. And then next on the list is my sparkling water, and this flavour is blackcurrant and cherry. And that one was 75p. Then next on the list, I needed some bin bags, and I only ever buy the cheap bin bags. I double them up in the bin in my kitchen, and these are £1.25 for 40. The next on the list was a sliced wholemeal brown loaf, and that was 99p, which apparently was price matched to Aldi. And then I got a bar of chocolate, and Sainsbury's own brand chocolate was 75p. And then next on the list was a packet of paracetamol for the store cupboard, that was 35p. And then last on the list, I'm really getting into rich tea biscuits, so these were 50p. I'm pretty much sure you can get a bigger packet in Aldi, but obviously I wasn't in Aldi. So I thought, well, that'll be fine for the moment. So 10 items, and that came to £11.33. Thought that was a pretty good shop. So happy with that. And I have only got till Saturday for my new food budget to kick in. But to be fair, there's not really anything major on my shopping list for next week at the moment. Maybe would need to get some fresh veg and a top up of fruit, but I'm still okay for meats and fish. So that's my top up shop. Thanks for watching. So yeah, not too many sweet treats. Got my bar of chocolate, and I thought, well, I'm going to get some rich teas and some hot chocolate, because that's the perfect after dinner, you know, drink and snack if I don't have any desserts after my main dinner in the evening. So I'd like to fill you in with what I got up to last weekend. So basically, on Sunday, it was very impromptu. I woke up fairly early, and I wasn't going to church that day, and I had full intentions of staying in. But then I thought, oh well, I kind of fancy popping out. And I gave my bestie a call, and I said to her, do you fancy a little trip out? And she was up for it. So she came to me, and we decided to jump on the train and head into East London. And the purpose of me kind of thinking I'd like to go up there was to visit Petticoat Lane, because I haven't been to Petticoat Lane in years. Now, Petticoat Lane is basically predominantly a clothing market, and it has been there for decades. And when I was a teenager and starting my first jobs in the mid-80s, I always used to go there. Really, really loved it back in the heyday. And yeah, I just thought to myself, I have been there since, but the last time I went was maybe 10 years ago. But I just thought I really fancy, you know, going there and having a Sunday morning wander around, see what's there. And yeah, so I had a little wander around. So basically we got off at Whitechapel, and we walked down Whitechapel High Street into Aldgate, and we got to Middlesex Street, which is either the start or the end of Petticoat Lane. And yeah, a couple of cheeky purchases were made. Both me and my friend, we bought a couple of bags which we definitely did not need at all. Did we want them? Yeah, we picked up 2 bargains, £5 each. I got a navy and a khaki little crossbody bag, and she got a beige and a grey one. Can't resist a bargain. And we had a little wander round. The side streets had market stalls as well, so we were kind of veering off and then coming back on the main path of Middlesex Street where Petticoat Lane is. And it was just a hubbub of people. It was busy, but it wasn't really packed, which was nice. You know, you could have a wander around and look at all the different market stalls. People were haggling, people were buying. It was just a really lovely vibe. And then we carried on walking until we got to Bishopsgate, which is where Liverpool Street Station is. And right opposite where we finished Petticoat Lane was a place called Italy. So my friend said, should we go in there and have a look around? So I said, yeah, that'd be really good. Unfortunately, my battery had died at this point. But Italy is basically a food market, quite an artisan food market, similar to like a food hall, which you would maybe find in Selfridges or Harrods, but it's all Italian. And they also have got eateries in there. Really nice place where you can get things like olives and chorizo and have an alcoholic drink with it. And then there was another place where you could sit and eat and choose off the menu. And then upstairs they also had a pizzeria as well and pasta place. But the actual food itself is all imported, and oh, it was so very tempting. They had fresh delicatessen counter, there was cheeses, you name it, it was there. We did get tempted. We both brought back home some cherry jam, which was a really good bargain for £2.70, and a really nice sized jar. Here's a picture. So very happy with that. And then we made our way out of there, and then we decided that we were quite peckish as it was lunchtime, and we walked down to where Leadenhall Street is, and there's a Wetherspoons called Cross Keys, and we popped in there, and we both had a small all-day breakfast, which was chips, sausage, bacon, egg and beans. And you get a free drink, and we decided on hot drinks, and they were refillable drinks. And basically I had a cup of tea with mine, and then after my food I had a hot chocolate, and that was £8.50. Now, where in London can you get 2 hot drinks and a small English kind of breakfast for £8.50? We were both really pleased. The food was nice and we were perfectly refreshed. Then I said to my friend, shall we go and have a look around Spitalfields? Now, Spitalfields has got an indoor market, lots and lots of different stalls, jewellery, leather goods, clothing, accessories like shawls, food. If you've not been to Spitalfields Market, I highly recommend it as part of your day out in East London. It really is well worth visiting. And we had a little meander around. My friend, she bought a purse, and then we went into Flying Tiger. and I love Flying Tiger. You can really get caught up with buying all little different bits and bobs. And I bought a little storage box, a little bamboo one for £1, which I thought would be perfect for my earrings. And I also bought a toothbrush holder for when I go on holiday. And then I bought a fold away little bag for when I go shopping. And those items came to £6 altogether. So not big amounts of money spent, but really pleased with those items that I got. Then we decided to make our way up to Brick Lane, and we went in some more indoor markets there, which was like vintage, second-hand kind of items and antique items, and it was really nice having a wander through there. And then we ended up at the bagel shop, and although we wasn't hungry, we decided to get some almond croissants. My friend, she treated me, which was really lovely, to an almond croissant, and I bought a couple of bagels to take home because I thought they'd be ideal to have for lunch at work. So we then decided to make our way home because it was pouring with rain at this point, but we'd had such a lovely day out, and it was an impromptu one, but we had a really amazing time. So it was a nice little walking tour of the East End, and I'll show you some little snippets now of Petticoat Lane. So yeah, it was a real hubbub of activity. Really did enjoy having a wander around the East End. It brought back quite a few memories. And if you're kind of fairly near London and you know you fancy a nice Sunday morning out, I highly recommend that you kind of do the walking tour that we did. Like I said, we got off at Whitechapel, walked up to Aldgate, up Middlesex Street, went for something to eat, and then walked into Spitalfields, Brick Lane, and then we got the train home. It was just such a nice experience to get out, see the places that I hadn't seen for years, and yeah, bag a couple of bargains. So thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, would you consider please subscribing? It would mean so much to me. And if you are returning, thank you so much. And for also leaving your lovely comments. They're very much appreciated. And let me know if anything's inspired you with the vlog today. If you're intending on visiting London, for example, or you're doing a little move around of your living area as winter sets in, you know, it is all food for thought as to where your furniture actually is. So big thanks to Mandy for giving me that prompt to move my sofa. Yeah, very happy about that. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye everyone.